Welcome to the next episode of WaterparkRanger's Let's Play Pikmin. In the last episode, we actually cleared the Forest of Hope, and so that means that today we're going to try and clear the Forest Navel. Now, clearing the Forest Navel in 2 days does take a bit of planning, so I thought out a strategy that will help us hopefully attain that goal, and that's basically done by working with a couple of different combinations of Pikmin groups. Now, the first one we're going to want to use is 50 red Pikmin and 50 blue Pikmin. A nice even amount, because you do need large groups for this task. So as you probably expected, we're going to have fire hazards and water hazards. And it's also helpful to have these 2 bridges built that we fortunately did on day 4 when we were in the Forest Navel. That was it. That will definitely help for all the ship parts we're recovering today. Now first off, we're going to want to have our blues go down by the huge lake past the fiery blowhogs. It's pretty hard to miss. Here's the entrance. Now, there are a couple of wollywogs around here. Now, I don't recommend you fight them. Believe it or not, wollywogs can kill a ton of Pikmin. They also kill a ton of time. And so the best idea is just to kind of lure them out of the way by making them take a couple hops away from the path that the ship part will follow as you're carrying it back. Just try and distract them if you can. It's an Anti-Dioxin filter. This fits over the rocket's exhaust ports and filters out all disease-causing agents from the ship's exhaust. That means I'll be able to move around without polluting the planet's atmosphere. I feel worlds better. Yay, Olimar's going green. How fitting for a Pikmin commander. There's also a huge bottle out here that doesn't really do anything. I guess I'll mention more about it later. No! Oh, it hit a couple of our Pikmin. I didn't do such a good job of distracting it. Yeah, I had a weird glitch occur where one time as I was carrying this back, it landed in the center of the part, so it technically shouldn't have hurt any Pikmin, but by doing that, it killed every single Pikmin. Alright, this part, be very careful. I've had so many times when this fiery blowhog totally just screws me over. So after you call them out of the way, just get them out of harm's way. Do not let them get set on fire by fiery blowhog. Stupid fiery blowhogs. I hate them in this game. They're huge and powerful, and they really do take a lot of hits. Before I knew that Reds could beat them, I, really detested them. They're really horrifying enemies. Well, were. Once you know how to deal with them, they're really just fodder. With a bad attitude. That's probably the best way to describe them. Yeah, and we'll have the Reds carry him back. That way they won't gather any fire-based hazards. Now, the jobs are not yet over for our Blues, because there are more water-based obstacles coming up. First, make sure you navigate carefully around the fiery blowhog, and now be especially careful around the fire vents at the end of this huge passage. Just swarm carefully. And don't throw recklessly either, because if you throw over the edge into that darkness, your Pikmin will die. That's all there is to it. That's like an infinite void or something. Now, I'm just going to set a couple of Pikmin working on this. You want to have, like, 30, at least 20 with you, preferably 30 with you for this part here. Because 30 will just carry it faster, simply speaking. See, it's in a reservoir back here. I found my analog computer. This computer conveys the kind of vague data that falls outside the range of 1s and 0s. Actually, to be honest, it's a little bit too vague, so it isn't very helpful. Once again, Olimar being incompetent about the parts of his ship. So your blue Pikmin's job here is basically remove it from the puddle, and we'll get it a good distance from the water just to be safe. And you might notice there's fire up ahead. So how do we deal with something like that? Well, first off, I know there's an iridescent flint beetle that pops up here. Just try and keep your Pikmin away from it. It'll do nothing but annoy them. Throw Pikmin in groups of 10 into this flower here. I know it seems like they're dying, but this is actually a candy pop bud, a strange flower that changes your Pikmin's color. I'll explain more about it after we examine this part, which is actually fitted onto our ship, as you can see. Anti-Dioxin filter. The laws of deep space require all ships to eliminate all pollutants. How nice. So yeah, basic idea. You need to have, it's a very good idea to have them in groups of 10 when you bring them here, because if you don't, it will take the candy pop bud longer to turn them into seeds. And there you have it. Already we have all 30 seeds. Now it's just a matter of plucking them. Now, I guess if I was smart, I might have actually thought of flipping that iridescent flint beetle just so I could get some nectar out of it for these Pikmin. But as luck would have it, I didn't think of that strategy at the time, so we're just going to have to make do with what we've got. I mean, leaf Pikmin are alright. We worked fine with them on day 2, didn't we? That seems so long ago. But I was so much older then. I'm younger than that now. Alright, let's try and pick this thing up. Not that the weight should change at all. I mean, Pikmin are still... that's probably a good idea to have 30, just because even their leaf, they'll carry just ever so slightly faster. And look, leave the blues here long enough, and they're doing a pretty good job building that bridge, even if it's huge and it's taking a long time. Of course, that won't do by itself. That is unacceptable. The rate at which they are completing that task is unacceptable. We need to get more Pikmin working on it. What was all that dust? Did you see that? The fiery blowhog was like running in a giant cloud of dust. I've seen some really weird like texture glitches or whatever happen whenever, or effects glitches. Yeah, effects glitches probably. Whenever a fiery blowhog's around like off screen doing some sort of action. Like one time a fiery blowhog was shooting fire at me, or was just about to, and then I ran off the screen before it could shoot the fire, and when I came back, it was constantly shooting at fire, not like taking a break, just it was running around shooting fire everywhere and like leaving a huge trail of fire. I think Pikmin has more glitches than you'd normally encounter in games. Now I'm not entirely certain about this, but just on playthroughs of Pikmin, I find more glitches than like on playthroughs of other games, and they're not like glitches that make or break a game, unless you're going for like 0 deaths, in which case the crushing glitch will obliterate you and like make you scream for mercy. But otherwise, like, they're just, like, funny little things that happen, and it's amusing, and sometimes it's pretty awesome. See, fiery blowhog can't hurt us now. So now we have some reds and yellows with us, as you can see. Why is that? Not just because I wanted to make a nice bunch of pretty colors to help finish the bridge, but because you need all 3 Pikmin types to complete the challenge that lies ahead on this dark and distant underground island. It's not as epic as it sounds, trust me. And look, there are some mushrooms growing down there. I think it looks so awesome on the map, though. It's kind of like disconnected from the rest of the area. It's like the most pathetic mini area all by itself. It's sort of like a stray island in Wind Waker with nothing on it. Alright, the bridge is almost on its way. Oh yeah, fun thing. You can kind of make Olimar like spaz out if you run around and hammer down on the D-pad for him to kind of go into that animation where he lies down. Just amusing. Doesn't do anything special, I don't think. Maybe it's good for a quick dodge. Now, have the blues open up this jump geyser that's hidden in the puddle. Of course, only blues can do that. And yellows are necessary to throw them up to the next ledge here. So do that. And the jump geyser will help Olimar to catch up with his yellow friends. Yes, we like to refer to them as friends, not slaves. And there's the last little object there. Yeah, I never really thought... I mean, people are always saying, like, oh, Pikmin, it's horrible because you're a taskmaster. I found my Libra. My daughter gave this to me. It's named after her astrological sign, my sweet little girl. I wonder what she's doing right at this moment. Alright then, we have the Libra. Back to the matters at hand. Yellow should not be carrying that back to the flames, obviously. That's why we brought these red Pikmin along to help us out with that task. There we go. Now we'll just call the rest of them. So yeah, it's just like a clone of the Sagittarius. Real creative there, Nintendo. I guess it could have been worse. Yeah, I never really thought that I was like being horrible to the Pikmin as I played this, you know? I was a kid, I didn't have like the concept that Olimar would do something so horrible to his Pikmin. I always tried and made sure that they were healthy or whatever. No, actually, that was just an excuse for me being inept at commanding them after constantly drowning them, and by mistake, obviously, and getting them lit on fire and stuff. For the longest time when I played this game for the first time, obviously, I didn't finish the game for this reason. What? No! A yellow Pikmin has been left! We'll go back and get him. Actually, chances are they're already burnt to a crisp. Too bad. Oh yeah, where was I? Yeah, well, the first time I played this game, I mostly used Olimar to punch enemies, so I didn't really get anywhere. So, pro tip, use Pikmin to beat Pikmin. Anyway, we'll continue with this day next episode.